Welcome back to Baron's New Vegas Gun Guides, and this is unfortunately a bit of a bittersweet episode, the last of the traditional big bullet cowboy weapons, the brush gun. At least, it's one of my favorites. A heavy-hitting example of turn-of-the-century technology. The first gun to really show off these technologies was the Venable Winchester Model 1886, which was the repeater for the 4570, showing that the 4570 could be fired at a considerable pace and not damage the action of the repeater. It quickly replaced the trapdoor rifles of the era, and lived in the limelight because of this, even making the jump to smokeless powder with a little modification, something that was no small feat back then. The brush guns we are presented with in New Vegas are thankfully not approaching 400 years old, and seem to only be informed by the designs of the Model 1886 and the 1895 Marlin Guide, which were both very respectable rifles. They still followed the ideology, though, of a big round for big game, and while there are plenty of big game, it still hunts the most dangerous game like a dream. Thanks to its longer barrel over the hunting revolver and the resulting game logic, the brush gun packs a devastating punch at 75 points of damage, a 64% increase over the trail carbine, which fits with the logic presented with the hunting revolver. Holding less ammo and firing slightly slower doesn't keep it from having a very respectable DPS of 92.3, with a protracted DPS of 57.1 with reloads. And like all other repeaters, that reload is interruptible, but it's filling only a 6-round tube. When compared to the trail carbine or the hunting revolver, its AP cost is higher, but only slightly at 33, with an efficiency of 2.3 damage per AP, the highest of any of the cowboy weapons. But if you can't make the cost, the gun has a good set of iron sights, a semi-buckhorn with a side-mounted diopter aperture at the rear. The whole setup is similar to the cowboy repeater, but it is not as obscuring as the cowboy repeater. But it is just as easy to get tunnel vision from afar, or get overwhelmed up close. As is expected of the cowboy class of weapons, it eludes the crit range of the sniper rifle, having the standard chance to crit with double damage, but with the standard spread for the lever actions of .06, it makes do, at long range. Now with an interruptible reload of only 0.5 seconds for each round, it also throws lead in close quarters quite well. Now sadly, this is where the downsides start to show. Much like the hunting revolver, it's really big for durability, as the big round tears apart the gun, getting only 745 shots of standard ammo, or 245 shots of the hand-loaded semi-wad cutter. However, mercifully, the brush gun does have a mod to fix this, the forged receiver, which costs 1,750 caps, and it raises the durability of the gun by about 50%, giving you 1,120 shots of standard ammo, or 370 shots of semi-wad cutter. It is a very expensive mod, considering the base cost of the weapon is 4,900 caps fully repaired, and the ammo is similarly expensive as we've discussed previously, at 4 caps for standard ammunition. The hollow points are coming in at 8 caps for the 75% more damage, while increasing damage threshold by 3. The semi-wad cutter, only available with the handloader perk at 5 caps, for 20% more damage threshold minus 6, but at 3 times the wear. And now for how to obtain the gun. It can be looted from the bodies of NCR Rangers or Legionary Assassins, but only when reaching the 20s or greater in level. It can be bought from the 188 Trading Post, the Gunrunners, the Hidden Valley Armorer, and, my favorite, the Great Khan Armory, as they give you the best price whenever you're in good standing with them. Now, Honest Hearts, Old Ward Blues, and Lonesome Roads also have windows to get the gun from your enemies, depending on the level. And now, onto its final stats. As opposed to how much the guns weigh in real life, the gun in New Vegas only weighs 5 pounds, which is barely a burden, and it has an only slightly above average strength requirement of 6, but it does have a deeply invested gun skill requirement of 100. Now, when compared with the right perks, it can compete with the anti-material rifle with a much faster firing rate. Now, outside of GRA, there is no unique, but is still a worthy contender for a true cowboy experience. There is nothing better than a brush gun whenever you're fighting the mutants of the waste, and always make sure you are armed for bear. And don't you worry, even though we've finished the cowboy weapons, it doesn't mean we're going to stop now. Coming up next is going to be modern weapons, starting with the 22 silenced pistol, and its brother, the 22 silenced submachine gun. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.